I said I was going to do, I did. I executed the game plan that my dad put together to the T.
Hey man, your son done it once again. You know, a lot of people.
If another person asks me a question, I'm going to say, I told you so.
I do. I see a 50-50 fight. I think that Devin, you know, he's a boxer. He's better than what people think he is. But, you know, the Ryan thing, it could have messed him up. You know, I mean, no matter if Ryan was on something or not, I mean, he still took a beating. So you just never know how he's going to react to that.
People wrote me off. They said that I was a runner. I was a sucker for left hook. You know, that why was I taking this fight? I was going to get knocked out. And, you know, I proved all of them wrong.
Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. promised fireworks, and they didn't disappoint in Riyadh. Norman Jr. stepped in razor-sharp skipping rope with confidence as the crowd erupted even before the opening bell. Fans were on their feet, buzzing with the feeling that something epic was about to unfold. The arena's energy was absolutely electric.
Also, the fight with Bam Bam Rodriguez and Pantera. I think Bam Bam Rodriguez, I think he wins that fight. Bam Bam Rodriguez, you know, he's pound for pound fighter, so I think he definitely goes in there, he does his thing. And also, I think Abdullah Mason goes in there, and I think he's going to get a great victory too. You know what I mean? He's a great prospect coming up. You know, I've enjoyed watching his fights in the one as he's coming up, and I think, you know, he's definitely going to be a great champion. You know what I mean? So I definitely feel like he's going to make a statement.
Before the fight, David Benavidez predicted a win for Devin Haney, but he also cautioned that the danger wouldn't disappear until the final bell. Brian Norman Jr. brought serious power, and Haney couldn't afford to let his guard down for a single second. The fight delivered exactly that tension, tight, intense, and keeping everyone on the edge of their seats. Benavidez believed Haney's speed and experience would make the difference, and as the rounds played out, it became clear that's exactly what happened. Haney's ring IQ shone brightest when the action got heated.
Hey Robert, real quick, there's a big fight coming up in a couple of weeks, Haney and Norman Jr. What are your thoughts on that fight?
Oh, that's right. It's going to be over there in Saturday with us.
Yeah.
That's how you forget. Yeah. That's going to be a good fight. Haney's a great boxer, man. You know, I think he's going to try to win by decision. And I know, you know, I faced, what's his name? Norman. You know, he's strong. I heard, you know, I was there. I heard those punches. He's strong. But I don't think Haney's going to stand to an exchange. I think Haney's going to box and try to pull off that decision.
Breaking down the matchup, Robert Garcia praised Haney as a skilled, intelligent boxer. He predicted that Haney would rely on his technique and ring smarts to secure a decision victory, rather than getting drawn into a brawl. Garcia didn't underestimate Norman Jr.'s power. He acknowledged the serious heavy shots Norman could land, but he was confident that Haney's precision and ring awareness would keep him out of danger and allow him to control the fight. In Garcia's view, Haney's brains consistently outmatched Norman's brute force.
I think Devin's either going to win really easily or he's going to get knocked out. You know, the thing is Devin and Bill particularly are concerned about getting hit, right? Which is a really bad situation when you're fighting, especially when you're fighting someone who's quite a sharp puncher. I think Devin up at 47 is going to suit him physically actually really well. When we talk about boots at 47 going up to 60, that was the same. When Devin was at 35, it was just, you know, then he's at 40. I think at 47 physically he's going to feel really good. How good's Brian Norman? That's, you know.
Before the fight, Matchroom boxing promoter Eddie Hearn described the matchup as very interesting. He said it could go one of two ways. Either Haney would box smart and win on points, or Norman Jr. would land a big shot and end it. There was no middle ground. Hearn also highlighted how cautious Haney and his dad, Bill, are about avoiding dangerous punches, making Norman's power a real threat. But Hearn was confident about Haney moving up to welterweight, believing it would make him stronger. On fight night, that confidence confidence proved justified. Haney handled the extra weight, stayed balanced, and controlled the pace with precision and skill.
And I don't think, if you're concerned about your punch resistance, I think it's a dangerous game. So Devin will get on his bike against Brian Norman and he will try and outbox him. I don't think he'll run like he did against Ramirez, because I think that he needed that fight. He was rough against Ryan Garcia. Do you know what I mean? He needed to overcome the demons. But you know that when Ramirez stepped in and let his hands go, you could see Devin, and you knew. And you know what everyone's thinking? Fuck. Brian's a little bit, hopefully, a little bit more balls to the floor than Ramirez, who just kind of went through the motions a little bit, tried to win, but you know. But how good's Brian Norman? I mean, because Devin's good.
I think Devin beats him.
Yeah, probably wins on points.
Hearn noted that Haney's team had concerns about his chin after the Garcia knockout, making this matchup even riskier. That's why he expected Haney to rely on movement, discipline, and outboxing Norman, rather than trading heavy shots. According to Hearn, Haney needed a performance like his win over Jose Ramirez to rebuild his confidence. And tonight, he delivered that and more. Norman came out swinging, but Haney's patience, ring IQ, and smart strategy earned him the points of victory. It was a clear reminder that brains can beat brawn even when the opponent is swinging for the fences.
Brian Norman Jr., Devin Haney. I know it's something that we've talked about for like the last 3 fucking months, but it like kind of like crept up, like it seemed like it was closer. You kind of forgot about it, now it crept up on us, and now you've seen the workout videos and the trash talk. Do you look at this fight any different than you looked at it before? Now looking at Dev, looking at Brian workout.
I give Brian more of a chance. Brian, he's all business. When, you know, I'm sure it's part of his contract where you gotta like do like the whole promoting shit. And they're asking him about, you know, the whole, what's his name, dress attire, Devin's young, and he's like, bro, I don't give a fuck about that dress attire, man. I'm gonna beat the shit out of whatever he said. I don't know, bro. Like, I'll probably lean more towards Brian Norman now.
Brian Norman Jr.'s sparring partner LaManna offered a brutally honest take before the fight and believed Norman's stock was rising fast. Watching him train up close, LaManna noticed something different. More focus, more intensity, like Norman had tuned out everything except winning. He wasn't caught up in hype or trash talk, he was all business. LaManna admitted he was starting to root for Norman, drawn to his explosive power and sneaky speed, both of which flashed danger throughout the fight. Norman fought like a man with something to prove, and that hunger was visible in every round.
I'm not sure if Devin is as good as I think he is. That's a scary thing, because Brian is either not as good as his hype is right now, or he's better than what we think he is. I don't know. And I'm the first one to tell you guys how much I don't damn know. But what we do in the war room is do critical thinking. A lot of people call that flip-flopping. They only want you to have one mind. But that's not what I do. I'm trying to think of all things.
Showbiz the adult admitted he had some doubts about Devin Haney taking this fight. He questioned whether Haney could maintain the same speed, timing, and pinpoint accuracy that made him dominant at lighter weights. Moving up, Showbiz noted, can dull some of a fighter's greatest strengths, but he also cautioned fans not to underestimate Norman Jr. Unpredictable and powerful, he had the potential to completely turn the fight around on his best night. For Showbiz, it all came down to which fighter stayed sharper and adapted better under pressure.
And he just Brian Norman's coming off a crazy knockout. You know what I mean? They said something about the guy losing his memory after that. Yeah. That's crazy.
Packed him up.
That's crazy. But I don't see that happening in the Devin Haney fight. I don't think anybody's gonna be able to catch Devin Haney now. I don't think nobody's gonna be able to that hook that Brian hit him with, that's not happening again. You seen his last fight, he was in tremendous shape. The whole fight, all 12. Boxing, moving when he wanted to. And Brian Norman he's in my opinion, he's one-dimensional. You know what I mean? I don't see him being able to cut Devin off and doing anything with him. I see him getting outboxed.
Khalil Coe, the rising star turned sharp analyst, was clear that Devin Haney held the advantage going into his clash with Brian Norman Jr. Coe highlighted Haney's slick boxing, disciplined approach, and strategic game planning, all factors that gave him a real edge. While Norman carried serious power, Coe saw him as too predictable to trouble a fighter as skilled and polished as Haney.
His chances are slim. You know what I mean? Like I said, if he was more, his footwork is not up to par enough to catch Devin. You know what I mean? Devin's a hell of a boxer. You know, before the Ryan knockout. So now he's just more conscious of what can happen. So he's not gonna be able to do anything with Devin.
Coe also pointed out Norman's biggest weakness, his footwork and lack of ring control. He explained that this flaw would make it extremely difficult for Norman to corner Haney or hold him in place long enough to land anything significant.
I'll get you out here real quick, David. Just got a few predictions from you, man, because I know you're a student of the game, and there's even for a slow time of the year, there's a lot going on, especially, you know, with you. You got a big undercard, man. You got Bam Rodriguez on there. But the fight that's most intriguing to people was a fight no one saw coming, and I'm calling it maybe the super fight that no one saw coming, Brian Norman Jr. and Devin Haney. What are your thoughts on that matchup?
That's going to be a great fight. That's a great matchup. You know, you got the reigning defending champion. He doesn't want to let Devin Haney go in there and take the championship from him, so he has that on his side. You know, he's a strong puncher. You know, he's a slick fighter too, Brian Norman. But I just think Devin Haney, you know, he's fought better opposition. You know, I think him going up to 147 is going to help him. I think he's going to be stronger. I think he's going to be faster. And, you know, I ultimately got Devin Haney winning, you know, but it's still a dangerous fight until it ends. You know, Brian Norman has a lot of power in his hands.
When the bell finally rang, all the built-up tension exploded. For weeks, fans debated who would come out on top, but once the two got moving, no one could look away. Even David Benavidez, the Mexican monster, weighed in. He acknowledged Norman Jr.'s heavy hands and clever tactics, while noting that Haney had been sharpened by the best.
Last time Haney was in the ring with a big puncher, you know, and that was with Ryan Garcia. I know he was in the ring that was great, but I'm saying big puncher, somebody dangerous, was Ryan Garcia, right? And that performance with Ramirez, he won the fight, but it wasn't that impressive, right? You know, he got a lot of criticism, especially from me, the way he fought. You know, I felt that he fought scared. He didn't look the same. It looked like he had a lot of residue from the fight with Ryan Garcia. You know, he didn't want to get touched at whatsoever. So, you know, he moved around the ring a lot, but didn't do a whole lot of punching. You know, so it's going to be a very interesting fight, man, because Norman Jr., I feel like we haven't seen the best version of him yet. I feel that he continues to improve. We've never seen him in a ring with a boxer like this. I know he trains around boxers. I know he spars, you know, guys like Terrence Crawford and you name it, the who's who in the business. But we've never officially seen him under the bright lights.
When Mike Carpenter asked why he picked Norman for his welterweight debut, Devin Haney didn't hesitate. He goes for the best every time. Haney explained that Norman was the top fighter at 147, making him the perfect test as he stepped into a new chapter of his career. Analysts also credited Haney's growth since the Ryan Garcia knockout.
You know what? It's a damn good fight, man. It truly is. You know, I tip my hat off to both these guys. Both these guys are young. You know, Norman Jr., 23 or 24 years old, bro. You know, Haney's right in the midst of his prime. Norman's not even in his prime yet, but, you know, you can see the development and you can see the improvement of Norman's overall game, man, in his last 3 performances. Now that he's champion, man, and you have a guy that fought at 135, 140 pounds, now and that moving and wanting to fight him, you know, that's impressive, man. You know, Devin Haney is one of those guys that's always chasing, you know, the smoke. He always want to fight and test himself against the best fighters in the world. We gonna find out if this calculation, right?
Tim Bradley, the boxing legend, hyped Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. as one of the most thrilling welterweight matchups in years. He highlighted that both fighters are young, hungry, and fearless enough to take big risks early in their careers, something he truly admires.
I want to ask you, why was this the right time to make this fight? Two of the young best fighters in the world. I'll start with you, the challenger, Devin Haney.
I mean, that's just the type of fighter that I am. I've been like that, you know, my whole career. I want to fight the best fighters in the world, and right now, I think that he's the best guy at 147. This will be my first fight there. So, what better guy to fight than Brian Norman?
Bradley also took a close look at Haney's recent fights, particularly his bout with Jose Ramirez. He felt Haney appeared overly cautious, maybe even a bit gun-shy after the Ryan Garcia knockout. There was plenty of movement, but not enough real offense. Facing someone like Norman Jr., Bradley warned, could be risky.
If I had to put money, I would bet money on Devin. I mean, I fought him and I know how good he is, and it's like he's a good boxer. We cannot take that away from him that he is a good boxer. You know, he knows how not to get hit. You know, no matter if he makes it boring. Now, we're not saying that, but you know, same thing with Ramirez. He just, you know, he moved around, he ran around. You could say run around. He ran around the ring for 12 rounds. Same thing with me. He had good feet, you know, and he just know how to move out the way. So I think that's what he's gonna do. So I mean, and then you gotta think, bro, resumes matter. Like, whose resume is better, Brian Norman's or Devin Haney's?
Then there's Regis Prograis, who spoke with nothing but respect for Haney. After stepping into the ring with him, Prograis said he finally understands just how skilled Haney really is. It's not about flashy moves, it's about intelligence. Haney possesses elite ring IQ, sharp instincts, and that calm, composed demeanor only great fighters have.
I mean, I think like a lot of people hate Devin Haney so much because of, you know, I think maybe outside stuff and they don't really know him, but like, bro, you gotta, at the end of the day, like, I don't have to like you, but I gotta respect it. And like, you gotta look at his resume, bro. Devin got a resume. Brian Norman don't have a resume like Devin.
Devin Haney's speed, ring IQ, and experience give him a clear advantage over Brian Norman Jr.'s raw power. While Norman will challenge him with heavy shots, Haney is expected to control the pace, steer clear of risky exchanges, and secure a smart decision victory.
Who do you got for Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. quickly approaching?
That's a good fight. Really good fight. I would say that one's also 50-50. Brian Norman, he's a champion. He's strong, very strong. Haney's very, very fast, a great boxer, but it depends on how Haney keeps the fight. Because if Haney goes in and tries to brawl with Norman, I think Norman will take it 100%. If Haney could keep him on the outside and doesn't get clipped or nothing, then I think Haney would take it. So it just all depends on how Haney dictates the fight.
The wait is over. Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. delivered an all-out war in Riyadh, and the welterweight division will never be the same. From the opening bell, both fighters went all in. Heart, skill, and grit on full display. Predictions, analyst takes, and pre-fight hype didn't matter once the punches started flying. So what's next? For Haney, this win cements him as a top contender at welterweight. He's got options, potential unification bouts, big money matchups, and more high-stakes challenges. With his mix of speed, brains, and experience, he's not sitting still. A little recovery and fine-tuning, and he'll be right back in the spotlight. Thanks for following all the post-fight breakdowns. Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. gave us a war, and we analyzed every punch, every moment, and every prediction. If you enjoyed this recap, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another fight analysis.